Hello 8th graders, my name's Heather Lockie and I'm going to be modeling for you how to use the tool Bubble US, and it's a brainstorm and mind mapping tool. So the first step today is for you to go to bubble.us, and it's bubble spelled without the E. And so I'm going to open that up right here, and the first thing you need to do is set up an account, and you need to scroll to the bottom. And under free, click sign up, and then you're going to set up a username with your email and use your Ankeny Schools Google account email. Okay, and once you have set up your account, you'll see this screen, and the purpose today is for you to make connections between the 4 Holocaust texts that you either read or listened to, and those texts are Night, Sarah's Key, Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and The Book Thief. I'm going to model for you using 3 familiar fairy tales. And the first thing you're going to want to do is create bubbles for each of your 4 texts. In this case, I'm going to use only 3. And I'm going to be using the fairy tale Sleeping Beauty, when you want to create another bubble, you click Control and Enter. And my next fairy tale is Cinderella. And my third fairy tale is Snow White. So it's Control, click under, which is the button under your spacebar. And this one is Snow White. And when you want to move these bubbles around, you just hover over it, and then it says move, and then you can move it around. Like I'm going to move Snow White over here. I'm going to hover over my second fairy tale, click move, maybe move it up here, and Cinderella, move over here. So I'm going to give myself some space. The next thing I'm going to do is I thought of some similarities between all of these fairy tales, and there's a couple of things I could do. Is I could hover over one of my fairy tales, and if I want to do a smaller bubble connection, I just click, oops, click there, and then I can put one of my ideas that's in common with all 3 fairy tales. And the first idea I have is that all 3 of these fairy tales begin with Once Upon a Time. And what I'm going to do is do some of my similarities and connect it off of each text, and then I'm going to draw connections between them. So you just click, and it's called a child bubble, is created beneath one of your bubbles for the text. Another similarity between these 3 fairy tales is that they all involve royalty, like princes and princesses. Another similarity is that all 3 of these fairy tales have good characters. They also have bad characters, so I'm going to do another bubble. Whoops. So I wanted to do a green bubble off of Snow White, so I made a mistake, so I'm going to hit undo. Oops, I did it again. Okay, so you hover over that text and where it says new child bubble, that's how you get the green bubble. And another similarity is bad characters in all of these texts. Oops, need to add an S there. And I'm going to add a child bubble off of this one. So I'm going to hover, new child bubble. And the last thing that's in common with all of these fairy tales is that they end with happily ever after. Okay, so the green bubbles are all of the things that are similar in the three fairy tales, but I need to make connections to show that those similarities or those green bubbles are in all three. So I'm going to hover over like bad characters, for example, and click on connect, and then I can drag that to Sleeping Beauty, for example. And then Cinderella also has some bad characters, so I'm going to connect that to Cinderella. And at any time, if you want to like shift things around, remember you can just hover. Like I'm going to move Sleeping Beauty up here to give more space to make these connections. I'm going to bring Cinderella in a little bit. Okay, so I've got Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella all have bad characters. So now let's connect how they all have good characters. So I'm going to hover, click connect, and I want to connect that Sleeping Beauty also has some good characters. And Snow White also has some good characters. Oops, I lost my connection. I'm going to hover again over good character, click connect. You have to hold down your select button up below your spacebar and then drag it to make the connection. So Cinderella, Snow White, and Sleeping Beauty all have good characters. I need to connect royalty to the other two texts, so I'm going to hover, click connect, and drag the connector there. Hover again on royalty, drag a connector over to Cinderella. And then I'm going to move this down a little bit here. And they all three end with happily ever after. So I'm going to connect that. Oops, I lost my connection. Hover again. So connect that to Cinderella. And then connect that to Snow White. And then the last thing that and I'm going to move this up, I think, over here, just to give myself more space. So once upon a time, I'm going to connect to Sleeping Beauty, and then connect it to Cinderella. So I just modeled for you how to use this concept or mind mapping tool to have you draw connections between the 4 Holocaust texts that you read. Oh, one more thing is when you're finished, I want you to be able to share the link and upload the link to Classroom to turn in this assignment to your teacher. So it automatically saves, so just to double check, I'm going to click save. And then over here where it says new mind map, I'm going to click, oops. And I'm going to name it I named mine Fairy Tale Map. You could name yours something like Holocaust Text Map. And then to get the link to upload to Classroom, go over here to Share. And right here it says Copy URL. And so you're going to want to paste that your URL to the assignment that your teacher has created on Classroom. so that you upload the link to your mind map, and then it is easy for your teacher to view your mind map. Thank you.